Are the Arizona Diamondbacks back? Is it over? Well, we're about to find out, because if they get into the playoffs at this point, they will have earned it with how daunting the schedule is ahead of them. We are previewing the upcoming series with the Milwaukee Brewers, as well as talking about the Diamondbacks win over the Reds in 30 seconds. Don't you go anywhere. Monday to you all, live from Studio K. It's the PHNX Diamondbacks podcast presented by our friends at Circle K. My name is your mayor of PHNX, occasionally known as Derek Montia. His name is Damon Dog, occasionally known as Damon Farrell on the ones and twos. He's dancing. I'm loving life, and it's all because the Arizona Diamondbacks managed to take a series against the Cincinnati Reds, 2 games out of 3. Of course, this show is brought to you by our friends at Bet365 and Game Time. Make sure to go download that Bet365 app right now. Use our code PHNX365 when you do. You will get yourself $200 in bonus bets over at Game Time. Use our code of PHNX. You'll get $20 off your first purchase. Good morning, I guess, to some of you. I don't know. My days are all messed up now. I was here at the office with Damon until almost 2 o'clock in the morning on Friday night. So
I still haven't recovered.
I don't even know what day it is anymore, but I do know it's a good day to be a Diamondbacks fan. Diamondbacks take 2 out of 3 from the Reds. They improve over the weekend to a record of 64 and 67. And I know some people might be disappointed they didn't sweep the Reds, but with the way that things were going on Friday, let's at least be happy that they won the series. Also, the Reds, Damon, are an extremely hard team to sweep. And when I say that, I mean they have not been swept this season at all. In fact, they have not been swept in any of their last 42 series dating back to last year, including all 41 series this season. So wow, it's the reason why they're in the wild card race and a good team this year. But again, they do not get swept. And the Diamondbacks definitely did not have a good showing, even though Zach Gallen had a great showing on Sunday. The offense didn't, and that's the reason why the Diamondbacks end up losing that game by a score of 6-1. But the Dbacks have won 3 consecutive home series now, and 5 of their 7 overall series in the month of August. Standing before them is their toughest challenge yet. The very hard, very difficult, very good Milwaukee Brewers team, but the Diamondbacks at least have had some great starting pitching over this stretch. Like I said, Zach Gallen, even though the team didn't get the win, was very good on Sunday, and you love to see that. Diamondbacks starting pitchers in their last 10 games have a 3.63 ERA and opponent batting average of .222 with 11 walks and 45 strikeouts. So, hey, this team is at least playing some good baseball right now. And they need to, because we are going to go ahead and talk about the upcoming schedule and preview that series with the Milwaukee Brewers. And things do not get any easier for the Diamondbacks between now and the end of the year. In fact, they only have 3 series against teams that are currently below 500, and 2 of those series are against the Giants, which are always a tough matchup for the Diamondbacks. But
this is, we always talk about it though, Derek, right? Where it's like this team plays down to their competition. Correct. So in a way, I don't even think that it should be that scary that you play these really good teams. The only thing it does is give you less room for error. You have to continue to play well against every team you play. But we know as Dbacks fans all season long, all last season, that it feels like whenever they play the Dodgers, the Brewers, the Cubs, they show up.
Right.
But when it's the Royals, that's when they get swept. Or the Pirates or something like that.
Same thing with Zach yesterday, right? Another showing against a team that's a tough opponent, a team that, quite frankly, the Diamondbacks needed to beat, that's ahead of them in the standings. And Gallen showed up. It was
he had a good game.
It's a weird juxtaposition from the day before where they scored 10 runs to Sunday where they only score 1. Mm-hmm. They put those 10 runs up against the Reds' best pitcher in Abbott, who has been insanely good this year and, quite frankly, had his worst outing of the season against the Diamondbacks on Saturday. But let's take a look at the overall numbers from the series here. We love to call it the count, presented by our friends at Desert Financial Credit Union. The Diamondbacks outscored the Reds in this series 17-12. Diamondbacks had 4 home runs to just 1 by the Reds on Sunday. The Diamondbacks were 8 for 22 for a .364 batting average with runners in scoring position. Excellent job there. Sunday, though, 0 for 5. And that's pretty much what makes their batting average even not like their batting average without that. They were 3 for 6 in game 1 and 5 for 11 in game 2. So their batting average would be around 500 if not for what they did on Sunday. So a great job with runners in scoring position in 2 out of those 3 games, but one of them they fell flat, and that's the one they lost. Here with the starting pitching ERA, they managed to balloon the Reds starting pitching ERA, one of the teams with one of the best starting pitching staffs in baseball, 6.92 starting pitching ERA for the Reds in this series to the Diamondbacks, 2.77. Great stuff there, including the opener appearance there, I guess you could say, from Jalen Beeks on Saturday, which was an interesting move that worked out for the Diamondbacks. Relief pitching ERA, both good. Diamondbacks good, Reds outstanding. They had a 1.93 ERA. They allowed 3 earned runs in the series. Diamondbacks 3.94. Theirs really ballooned yesterday, where the bullpen let this game that was tied at 1 basically slip away from them. But overall, still not a perfect series, but a good series. And quite frankly, I don't think it's realistic to expect the Diamondbacks to go out there and start sweeping all of these teams that are, that are ahead of them. It would be great to see. Unfortunately, though,
they're going to need a couple, though. I think it was Mark up here in the chat that was saying, he said Dbacks won't make it without sweeping some of these teams coming up. Time is running out.
That's fair.
It's a fair point. I think that they do need to throw in a couple sweeps along with winning basically every series the rest of the way.
Yeah. But yeah, Killer X is right. Why are you surprised they only put up 1 run? They always put up 1 run after they score a jillion runs. And yeah, that does seem to be the case, doesn't it? Like, that lack of consistency offensively is kind of wild, right? And one of the guys that's the most inconsistent, I say that just because the lows can be so low and the highs can be so high, is Lourdes Gurriel Jr., who has been an RBI machine lately. He's been an RBI machine, Damon. He has 11 RBI in his last 5 games. He has 18 RBI in his last 10 games. And he freaking has 29 RBI in his last 21 games with a plate appearance dating back to August 2nd. This man's been clutch for this team, and it's not a matter of frustrating me right now because he's doing the thing. It's a matter of frustrating me more when he doesn't do it. But the Diamondbacks would not be in the position they're in right now, at least offensively, without Lourdes Gurriel's contributions. And when I say that, I'm going to get really nerdy here, and maybe some of you might miss this from the show because we don't do this too often, but let's talk about his ex-WOBA, his expected WOBA here over his last 50 plate appearances. As you can see, that kind of dotted line there around 300 is league average. That's actually a 325 ex-WOBA. And over these last 50 plate appearances, as you've seen here with Lourdes, he has been consistently above average there with his weighted on-base average, or expected weighted on-base average here. So he's just been, again, an offensive.
Can you explain the stat to me, Derek?
Weighted on, this, first of all, it's an expected stat, so it doesn't mean it's his actual weighted on-base average, but this includes, this is an on-base average including strikeouts and walks and such. So it goes beyond just your average on-base percentage.
Okay.
It also takes in part factors, I believe. I don't know. I'm not Jesse, so don't expect me to always break down all these things. Some of these stats are
Jesse's got like the formulas like locked in his head,
100%,
tattooed into his brain.
100%. And it's not just the easy like ERA calculation that I have to do all the time, but still very good stuff here from Lourdes. Geraldo Perdomo, again, also contributing quite a bit here. He has 2 triples in his last 6 games, Damon, and he has reached base safely in 20 of 22 games so far in the month of August. So and I mean, talking about Jesse, talking about Jack, they did an absolutely outstanding job over there breaking down Geraldo Perdomo, making a case for being an actual MVP candidate this year. And quite frankly, at least as far as the Diamondbacks are concerned, Baseball Reference, if you go to their page, he is the number 1 player on the Diamondbacks, according to Baseball Reference. Ernesto says it right here. This is Domo's team now. And I mean, it feels like that in more than one way, right, Damon? Like, not only is his performance living up to his kind of captain status, but this is a man out there leading on the field. This is a man going out there during media sessions and kind of, taking things over and defending his teammates and showing that leadership. Like, and to be fair, leadership is one of those things that too often is thrust on the best player. Like, Ketel Marte is the best player on the Diamondbacks, but that doesn't necessarily make him a leader.
Same with Corbin.
Nor does he want to be.
Yeah.
Right? But this is a situation where you feel like, Perdomo not only is earning it with his performance, but he kind of wants to take on that role and has, without anybody anointing him leader. You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, Torrey was calling him the on-field coach as of last season. And Killer Rex, I'm going to kiss Domo's ass all the time because that's kind of my role.
Damon's kissed Domo's ass since, what, 2022?
Pretty much. 2023 for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
But act like you've been here before. But, sure. The guy is unbelievable. He does everything that's asked of him and more.
Absolutely.
And he's, like we talked about it on Friday's show. What would the record be without Geraldo Perdomo this season?
I don't know.
It's unbelievable, and he just shows up in every game. So
right. Well, and another thing about Perdomo is the fact that, like, again, he is so many roles that honestly are like different people, right? Like, usually there's a leader, and usually there's the guy that has like the highest WAR on the team, and then usually there's the guy that's kind of like the heart and soul, as Candace suggests, and he's kind of all of those things. Right. And so, again, like, I don't know where the Diamondbacks would be without him, nor do I know where they would be right now without Gabby Moreno and his return, because, my God, this man has been delivering, and it just feels so good to see Gabby back in the lineup, healthy and contributing in the way he is. Again, this team is going to be different down the stretch. I don't want to actually still get excited here. I promised I wouldn't after the Reds series, but I do feel myself at least being my interests being piqued by this team at this point. I'm definitely paying attention, and I feel like why not? Well, the reason why not, as we're going to talk about, is the schedule ahead of them. So if they somehow find a way to actually win these games and I guess snake their way into a playoff spot, you see what I did there? They'll have earned it. They'll have earned it. This won't be a fluke. This won't be like 2023. And it won't be like 2024 either. I don't think there's any expectations for them to make the playoffs. But if they get there, they're going to earn it. But for now, let's take a look at the drunken orgy of violence that we call the NL West, because things have gotten interesting here. We now have a two-way tie atop of the division. Padres and Dodgers are tied at 74 and 57. Both teams have a 4.5 game lead in the wild card, and both teams are currently ahead of the NL West. Meanwhile, the Arizona Diamondbacks sit in third place at 64 and 67. They are 10 games back in the division. That has come and gone, but they are 5.5 back in the wild card. And while I don't feel like that is very close, it's not as close as 5.5 games seems. It's still enough to keep us interested and to see what this team can do. Like Torrey said, you're not going to make that all up at one time. It's unfortunate that with the Mets losing on Sunday, they weren't able to make up a game there to be now 4.5 back. But if they can manage to make up a game per week here before the end of the season, they'll be right there in the hunt at the end of the year. Giants, fourth place, bums, 63 and 68. 11 games back in the division.
They won 2 in a row, though, right?
Yeah, I know, but they're still bums. Rockies, the bigger bums, 37 and 94. Infinity sign. And that's where they sit.
Have you checked the wildcard standings at all, Derek, and seen the amount of teams ahead of the Diamondbacks right now?
I have checked it.
Because there is just one, and we just beat them.
And that's the team that we beat.
The Diamondbacks are tied with the Cardinals at 5.5 games back out of the wild card. They just beat the Reds, who are 1.5 back, but so still 4-game gap, but you closed it a tiny bit. And yeah, it feels like the Mets are playing not as good of baseball right now. Like, you got a shot. It's not a good shot, but you got a shot.
Well, Ryoma in the chat asks a very interesting question. I know we're not on to the Mailbag Monday questions yet, but Ryoma wants to know, where is Jesse Jr.? Time to issue an Amber Alert. Ryoma, if you were not with us on Friday's episode, you might not have had a chance to see this, but according to one Blaze Alexander and his ransom message that he sent us, Blaze Alexander is in possession of Jesse Jr. How that came to happen, I don't know. I have my suspects. Damon hasn't cleared the suspicion, quite frankly.
I'd say we're all suspects.
I am 100% convinced this was an inside job, and I don't really know who to blame. So what I do is blame everybody. Espo, Leah, Emma, the entire office is to blame. The Max and Connor, very high on my list of suspects. Also Eric, the top suspect, very untrustworthy.
Especially with that outfit he's got on today.
Yeah,
Skater Ruby, that's an untrustworthy guy.
I cleared Shane because of the baby incident when we went to the pool, because I know nobody would let Shane anywhere near the clubhouse or any of the players after that. So Shane is the only person that so far I do not have any suspicion about. But
Candace makes a good point. It's pretty simple how we get Jesse Jr. back.
Okay, well, I have a week before they come back, right? Like, I am not going to fly out to Milwaukee to get him from Blaze between now and then.
Yeah.
Nor am I going to break into Chase Field to free him, though that seems like a better option for me right now than dyeing my beard, quite frankly. I would risk...
Don't forget the Sour Patch Kids.
Oh, God, the Sour Patch Kids. All right, well... I have to go to Costco, I think. Maybe I'm going to bribe him with a big bag of Sour Patch Kids and see if he'll just give it back without me dyeing my beard. I don't know, but we'll figure it out on the other side of this break. We're also going to discuss the upcoming series with the Milwaukee Brewers, so don't you go anywhere. You're watching the PHNX Diamondback Show. Well, to get over the loss of my child, I have been using Pure Edibles, and of course, they can elevate your mood, or if you are worried sick like I've been, they can help you get some good sleep. But make sure to check out their entire line of candy, and when I say that, they make more than just gummies. They have their hard candies, they have their chews, they have their kicks, which are their version of Starburst, and so much more. So check out everything that Pure Edibles has to offer. They are a full-fledged candy company offering you more than just what your typical edibles company has to offer. They also offer you, of course, a wide variety of effects, and those effects are clearly listed on each tin. Doses and strains are also listed on each tin, so you know if you're getting some uplifting effects from a sativa or perhaps a sleep or chill indica. These are all available from Pure at all dispensaries across the valley. Of course, Pure was created in Flagstaff at Noble Herb Dispensary, so they are from right here in Arizona, and they are now made proudly in Phoenix. Of course, they are designed to be ripped or bit in half, making them easily shareable or easy to dial in your exact dose. Go find yourself some Pure Edibles from one of over 130 dispensaries across Arizona. And it is no secret that everyone in Arizona looks for ways to save when it comes to cooling your homes over the summer. And as you know, more than 50% of your energy costs come from cooling and heating your homes. Now is a great time to make sure you have a smart thermostat. If you do not have one, there are all sorts of benefits, including the ability to set your temperature at your home when you are not there, to schedule what your temperatures are going to be, and also, like I've been saying, you can monitor how much your air conditioning has been on. That way you can know if there is a problem before a problem becomes a much bigger problem. So make sure to have a smart thermostat. If you don't have one, APS customers may be eligible for smart thermostats for as low as $0 when you enroll in the APS Cool Rewards program. If you already have a smart thermostat, see if it's eligible to enroll in Cool Rewards, plus free installation is available at the link in our video description. Must be an APS customer and pay shipping and taxes. Other restrictions apply. Go to marketplace.aps.com for more information. All right, Damon. Well, like I said, the playoffs for the Arizona Diamondbacks basically start here, because if they're going to make their way into the playoffs, they don't have the ability to lose very many games between now and the end of their season at the end of September. They have 31 games left at this point. That's 10 series. And of those 31 games, 22 games are against teams with a record of 500 or better. They have 6 games left against the Giants and 3 games left against the Twins. Those right now are their only sub 500 opponents left on the schedule, which means those are, if you want to pencil those in, those are your must-win series. There's your sweeps potentially right there, because schedule outside of that gets very difficult. They have 6 games here against the Dodgers, 3 games against the Phillies, and then the season ends with 3 against the Padres and San Diego. They also have 3 versus the Red Sox and 3 versus the Rangers in there. So those are tough teams as well. Again, teams that are in playoff contention that also are kind of fighting for their lives here. So it never really gets easier for this team aside from those 6 games against the Giants and 3 against the Twins. So those 9 games out of their 31 left are pretty much the only reprieve. Those are kind of the must win where they can kind of stack some wins here. But it really starts with a huge 4-game series that starts today against the Milwaukee Brewers. Let's take a look at the Milwaukee Brewers at a glance. They are MLB's best. They have a record of 81-50, the best record in baseball. They also have a plus 159 run differential, which is the best run differential in MLB, again, by far. And a big part of that has been how good their pitching is and their defense. They are 4-6 in their last 10, and they do come into this series losing 2 in a row. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I don't know if that means they're coming down to earth, or I don't know if they're just going to be really angry and ready to come fight against the Arizona Diamondbacks. But I do feel like this is a good opportunity for them to catch them, at least at this time, considering how well they've been playing and that winning streak that they were on. Their team OPS is 736, which is 11th in Major League Baseball. Starting pitching ERA 3.40, second best in all baseball. 3.80 ERA for their bullpen, which is 10th best. And then they have 30 outs above average, which is, once again, second best in Major League Baseball. They are a very good baseball team.
Yeah, they're good at everything.
Not only are they good at everything, but they have this kid that you might have heard of, Jacob Mizorowski.
Boo.
Who Damon is not a fan of.
I'm not a fan of charity case all-star games. That's what I'm not a fan of. 5 starts in, and we're giving this kid an all-star appearance. Merrill Kelly will never have an all-star game appearance in his career. It makes me sad.
Well, his ERA definitely came back down to earth, as did he, but he was pretty electric there to start his career despite that. Let's take a look at the probable pitchers because we do get the Miz in this series. Erod kicks things off for the Diamondbacks. He is 5-7 with a 5.40 ERA and 115 strikeouts this season. He matches up with one of the best, if not the best, on the Brewers, Brandon Woodruff. He has a 4-1 record, a 2.47 ERA, 55 strikeouts this year. Game 2, we got Brandon Pfaadt going up against the phenom there in the Miz. Brandon Pfaadt this year, 12-8.
Brandon Pfaadt's the phenom.
Brandon Pfaadt, the real
Come on
phenom.
now.
Yeah, for sure. 4.95 ERA this season for the Diamondbacks phenom. 113 strikeouts. Meanwhile, the Miz, he is 4-2 with a 4.19 ERA now. He has 55 strikeouts. Game 3, another phenom for the Diamondbacks and Ryan Nelson. He is going up against Quinn Priester. Nelson is 6-3 with a 3.63 ERA, 105 strikeouts for Nelly. Priester, meanwhile, 11-2 this season, 3.44 ERA, 104 strikeouts. And then last but not least, the Diamondbacks staff ace, Nabil Crismatt, going up in the finale against Jose Quintana. Crismatt this year, 1-0 with a 1.00 ERA and 9 strikeouts. Quintana, meanwhile, 10-4, 3.32 ERA, 75 strikeouts. Big matchup, big series. Again, I don't know. I don't know, Damon. I keep saying this. The Reds now thing made me regain a little bit of hope, right? So it's like the hope is snowballing. And I look forward to the inevitable series where the Diamondbacks take that hope away from me. But is this going to be it, or are they going to surprise me and actually have a good showing here against Major League Baseball's best team?
Every time you look at a probables graphic for the Diamondbacks, you're not going to feel great about it.
Never.
That's kind of how against a good team, against
Never.
a non-White Sox or Rockies or a team like that. So I think it's kind of a fool's errand to even be like comparing this and be like, can we get the job done? Because I would have never thought the Diamondbacks would have beat Andrew Abbott like that in Game 2 against the Reds.
No, absolutely not.
Just got to continue to play good baseball. I think, you look at the first 3 on that list, and those are, I know you have Zach Gallen too, but those guys are all pitching decent right now, it seems like. Yeah. And then you have Crismatt, who you don't feel great about, but he's done his job thus far. So, I think, it's going to be on the offense, as it pretty much has been the entire season, to carry this team.
A lot of people are upset we don't have an updated picture of Nabil Crismatt. I'll go take one
Be
myself.
Upset with ESPN or MLB, man.
Yeah, when he comes back into town, I'm just going to take it myself. I'm going to be like, come over here in front of this wall throw on your cap and your jersey real fast. I mean, he's been
We could
outstanding.
maybe we could hit up our contacts, Derek, and see if we could get a Dbacks headshot for the
see.
people.
We got a good photo taker there in Danielle, by the way, who has been delivering for us. So make sure to check out, if you have not done so already, our Instagram account that now exists over at PHNX. I believe it's _Dbacks, but I don't _Dbacks. So make sure to check that out. That's and also, yes, we do need that. I do want to say though, all jokes aside, Chris Matt has been another kind of excellent addition, well needed. Like, I don't know where we would be without him, all things considered. So like, I thought Torrey did a great job, as much as Killer Rex is going to hate to hear this, with putting Jalen Beeks in there, and having him as a starter there, going up against a leadoff in Friedel, who was a lefty, and then Ellie De La Cruz, who's a switch hitter, turning him around where he's worse, from that side of the plate. So like, again, a great job of at least giving this team a chance to win. And boy, did they. Wasn't expecting that game to turn into the laugher that it was on Saturday. So just excellent job. And I mean, again, the only concern is that the offense fell flat on Sunday, and you would like to see it rolling, considering what they're up against here against the Milwaukee Brewers. But hey, vibes are high, as Michael Dixon says there, and I completely agree with it. Vibes are good, and we'll see what this team can do here against a very daunting schedule. Just got to take it game by game, and even though the Milwaukee Brewers have played great, maybe now is the time where they don't, and maybe the Diamondbacks are the team that starts causing them to question themselves and cause their fan base to fall apart a little bit. I saw that with the Reds, and I enjoyed kind of just being a fly on the wall over there and watching them all fall apart over losing a series to the Diamondbacks. The Diamondbacks are now that team somehow that other teams are in disarray about losing to, which is something we've experienced time and time again with some of the losses that we've had this season. Not only is it great for the Diamondbacks to play a little bit of spoiler, if that's the case, but they could have an impact. Like, they could have a huge impact on the playoffs no matter what, going down the stretch with the teams that they're up against, right? 6 games left against the Dodgers. How good does it sound to maybe knock the Dodgers out of the playoffs? Just saying. What if we did that? What if we helped that happen? I know that is total little brother loser talk, but if we don't get in the playoffs, man, would it be great to keep them from getting into the playoffs, wouldn't it? So that's still on the table. We'll see how the month plays out. Hopefully the Diamondbacks can keep on this roll. But on the other side,
that might be World Series number 2 if that happened.
I'm just saying.
Not to be that guy, but I'll treat it as such.
Yeah. All right. Well, we are going to take a quick break, and then on the other side of this break, we are going to get to the mailbag, because you know what day it is, and you know what we do around here. Don't you go anywhere. You're watching the PHNX Diamondback Show. Well, of course, Gila River Resorts and Casino is not only a great place to go have a great time, but it is where we will be holding our PHNX Cardinals residency this week. Fun Cardinals talk, NFL preview, and then our PHNX staff fantasy football draft all this Thursday over there at August 28th. But you do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Come out and join us then, or come out anytime for a great night out on the town. It's a great time to take a staycation right here, and it is a great place to do so. You can lounge at either of their AAA 4-diamond resorts and let relaxation take charge with unbeatable desert and mountain views. Check out the pool, have a frosty beverage, or you can just stop by for a night out on the town. They have over 4,500 slots and live table games. You can catch all the action at their BetMGM Sportsbook. So much more with an unprecedented level of entertainment and excitement you just won't find anywhere else in the desert. We know that they've set a high bar. So you do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playatgila.com for more details. And of course, Circle K is America's thirst stop. Now I have a new Circle K I stopped by on my way to the office. And that's why Circle K is so great, is because even though I changed my route up, I have a new one. I have another one that now I experience the joys of.
It was never in doubt that there was still one on the way.
No, not
very
only is there one,
for
now
you.
there's 2 on my way into the office. I don't just have one I pass, I have 2. So if that one's busy, I could be like, I'm going to go to the other Circle K. And because I'm an Inner Circle member, I know I'm going to save no matter which one I stop at. You can save 25 cents off on fuel when you buy 3 Coca-Cola 20-ounce products. That's for Inner Circle members only. You also get cookies for just $1 each on those cookies. Again, just for Inner Circle members, as well as 79-cent Polar Pops and 99-cent frosters. So do not miss out on all of this amazing deals. They also have meal deals for all times of the day, so don't miss out on that either. Join the Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit circlek.com for details. And Damon, I mean, you know what day it is, right? And I know that it's one of those weird weeks. We don't know what to expect here. We're cautiously optimistic around here about what the Diamondbacks are going to do against the Brewers. However, we're also realistic, and we know that there's a good chance that this could be at least the end of our optimism. So we'll see what happens. But today, as is every Monday, is you know what it is. You know what we do around here. You know that every year is our year, despite what the record says. You know that every month on this podcast, not just the weekend, the entire month is Hispanic Heritage Weekend or month. You know that every week on this podcast is Shark Week. You know that every day is Kevin's birthday. And of course, on Mondays, we go to the mailbag. Damon, let's go to the mailbag.
My mailbox, always something interesting in my mailbox.
That died fast. What happened? What? Do we not get to enjoy nice things around here? Also, it's not really Kevin's birthday. Did that have any impact on the song being so short?
Maybe Megaran. We usually, a little peek behind the curtain. Megaran actually does that live every time that we do the Mailbag Monday song. It's not like a recorded thing.
Is he not here?
I think you threw him off his game a little bit with the whole Kevin birthday situation.
He was excited to get out and start the celebration. I get it, but well, we do have things we do around here, and we do have our leadoff hitter, and we don't stray away from that. Damon, what do we got out of the mailbag today?
First question comes here from Travis Moore, and Travis asks, what side are you on if Lawler shows out late in a late season call-up? Start him at third base next year or trade him when his value is theoretically higher?
This is such a difficult question right now because, of course, a big part of this is the fact that Blaze Alexander is playing so well over there at third base, right? He's playing well defensively. He's playing well offensively. He's also a known thief. So I'm conflicted because I want to talk about what a great guy is and I want to talk about how much I love him, but he also is holding my sweet, sweet baby boy, Jesse Jr. hostage. So if it's going to bring my snake back to me without me having to dye my beard teal, then we can talk about Jordan Lawler having that third base position. But no, I mean, obviously there's going to be a competition there. And I think that Blaze has earned himself plenty of playing time at a major league level. I am still skeptical of that when it comes to Jordan Lawler, and it has nothing to do with his defense. I think that they will use both guys in a utility role when they do call Lawler up, and I don't think that Blaze will go anywhere unless he drastically has some sort of regression where his at-bats and his defense both get worse. But I do have my concerns about Blaze losing playing time to Jordan Lawler overall, because considering that they'll call him up, they will need to play him in order for him to be, for it to be relevant, for him to be a part of this major league roster. So I don't love that. I think that Blaze right now has pretty much locked the position down over there. If you look at his numbers since the trade, he's been outstanding. It's been a big reason why I'm the only one that's still talking and obsessing about Geno, and apparently no one else is. So I will say, though, that I think that Lawler overall has an opportunity still to win himself plenty of play time. It's just going to be a competition, and he's going to have to perform. He's going to have to be able to hit a breaking ball at a major league level. So
when he gets his next call-up, the pressure is really on.
It really is.
Because that would be what, like 3-4 call-ups at that point where he hasn't really shown anything? He needs to perform. And Blaze, frankly, Blaze has shown more when he's had chances and opportunities when he's gotten called up than Jordan Lawler has. And I feel like it'd be almost unfair to Blaze to just completely be like, you're done. When he's shown improvement, he's had weeks where he's been like one of the better hitters on the team, where Lawler's never had that.
Right. And quite frankly, Lawler has, like I said, in this situation, it would be that Lawler's playing well, because he says if he balls out, right? So that's a big if in regards to that. But if he does that, then the Diamondbacks do have a good problem on their hands. But the more concern is if he doesn't, right? Because if he comes up at a major league level and cannot start putting together some good at-bats, then I think that his value might sink lower than it possibly ever has been at this point, right?
It's pretty low right now, but you're right. I understand what you're saying. If he does it again, it's almost, that's why I say the pressure's on. It's almost like, is he ever going to do it?
Right.
Whereas right now you still have a shroud of like, well, he hasn't had the most opportunity and vice, so on and so forth. I just think that if he comes up and performs, I am willing to listen to trade offers for him.
Yes.
Still.
See, Killer X is trying to put situations in front of me that he knows I'm going to be angry about. So I'm just going to disregard his question for now. But
ask on the mailbag.
Maybe is what I'll say. All right. What else do we got?
Next question just says, snakes alive? From our guy Atlas Pront 0.
Yes. Snakes, in fact, alive. Snakes very alive. Snakes alive.
And Jesse Jr. is alive. We found that out.
He's somewhere. Whether or not he's still here in Phoenix or he's on a team playing in Milwaukee right now, that's a whole other question. But yes, our snake is alive and the snakes are alive. But I also think, let's be honest, right? Let's be honest. It's a difficult stretch ahead of them, and I don't expect them to come out of this with a winning record. Again, that's the reason why I say if they do, they'll have earned it. If this team ends up above 500 at the end of the season, they will have earned it 100%. It might not be enough to get into the playoffs, but if they can find a way to win more games than they lose, they will have earned it with the caliber of opponents that they have in front of them. But as of right now, no, they're not dead. It's not over because like Damon said, this is a team that oddly performs well when the opponent in front of them is a difficult one. And I don't know. I don't know if maybe it's the other way around. Maybe it's the other teams kind of playing down to us. Maybe it's the fact that teams don't know what to expect. Like this team is a freaking wild card whenever you play them. You have no idea if they're going to put up 10 runs against you. You don't know if Zach Gallen's going to suck or be Cy Young caliber. You don't know what you're going to get out of Ryan Nelson. You don't know, well, you do. You're going to get fastballs out of Ryan Nelson, but you know what I mean? Like there's no consistency to this team.
I was talking to someone who's not a Dbacks fan last week, and I was explaining how the team is to them, and they said, and it was a very apt comparison. So you guys are like the Cincinnati Bengals of the MLB. And I was like, yeah, kind of. We have a really exciting offense. The offense is top 5, top 10 caliber of competing. And the defense and the pitching, it leaves a lot to be desired. And it's so we get in a lot of entertaining games. We get in a lot of back and forth games with good teams. And then it just feels like we never really have what it takes to get the job done.
Team make you feel like they are going to be that's going to be enough to put them over the top, and then it doesn't, right?
Yeah.
Similar. Also, fire alternate jerseys.
True.
Both teams have fire.
You like those whiteout?
Those white tigers? Get out of here! That's crazy. No other team has anything that cool. I'm sorry.
The Bengals missed the playoffs last year, Mark R, and they were I think they were legitimately the second team out of the playoffs, which is what the Dbacks are currently.
Ask me in a week if Snake's alive. Let's do that, right? And I've done this way too many times, but again, I said if they have a good showing against the Reds, then Snake's alive, and they did, so Snake's alive. But ask me in 1 week after they've had 4 games on the road against Milwaukee and then 3 more against the Dodgers if Snake's alive, and we'll talk about it then. I do feel like it's kind of like that. Like, even if they have a good week this week, that doesn't mean anything for them because then the schedule is just as tough the following week and they still have to keep it up and they have to do it again. So maybe not as tough. Like this next week is very difficult. After that, it does get a little easier. But all right, what else we got, Damon?
Next question comes from Dbacks Stan account, and they ask, still on the fence, I think this series with Milwaukee will decide it for us. Guess It's not really much of a question at all.
Well, it was, I think part of our Mailbag Monday was, are we alive? Are we dead? Are we back? Or is it over? Right. And that's kind of where it feels like we are hovering right in that, are we back? Is it over range? That's just kind of what it feels like. Like there's things they do, like winning this series against the Reds, doing what they did on Saturday. By the way, John Boy had a video where they discussed the worst logos in MLB. And when it was brought up by Jimmy that the Cincinnati Reds C looks like a toilet seat, I can't unsee it. I couldn't unsee it after that. The rest of the weekend, it was just all I could see. But
what's the right answer for that?
The right answer is the Washington Nationals.
The Walgreens
The
logo.
Walgreens W that they literally
My
stole
Nipsert
from
is not
Walgreens.
going to like that.
My Nipsert is going to be furious, but he would probably agree with me. The
I don't think
Washington
so.
Nationals, I don't know. Like, they have the other W that's not nearly as bad. They have the one with like the little capital in the background that I don't hate. But the Walgreens, if we're talking like logo, the W is bad.
The Marlins is kind of trash.
Yeah, it is.
The new Guardian stuff, keep it.
The new Guardian stuff really seems to only appeal to people that live in Cleveland. They love it, despite the fact you took away like an iconic old name based on it being fairly racist. They went ahead and have a name that means a lot to them, and they like the Guardian stuff because of it being part of that bridge with the 4 Guardians on it. So that's...
Baseball has the best logos. I'm looking at some logos right now, and I genuinely think that it's not even close.
No, see, Mark R understands me and gets me. He says the Rockies logo is bad. Yes, Mark, it is. It's a stupid mountain with a baseball sailing in front of it. It doesn't make any sense, and I hate it. But hey,
how does it not make sense? That's
well,
my part that I push back
sense.
on.
It's just
it's a baseball team, and they're called the Rockies after the mountain range.
I'm not saying it doesn't make sense. I'm saying it's
You just said it doesn't make sense.
It's more of stupid. It's just stupid. I would rather it was a little cartoon mountain hitting a dinger, like a minor league logo, rather than being just a mountain range with a ball sailing in front of it.
I'm a big fan of the Cardinals logo. That's a cool one.
Fun fact, that ball in the Colorado Rockies logo is being hit by the opposition out of Coors Field. That's the reason why it's sailing at that trajectory. All right. Well, I've dunked enough, I think, on other teams. The answer is never the Diamondbacks, by the way. The answer will never be the Diamondbacks. There's never anybody that thinks the Diamondbacks, either their A logo or their S logo or their D logo, is bad. They're all good. Every single logo.
The A in particular, I think, is sweet. I love the snake tongue coming out of a letter. I think that's unbelievable.
See, me and Killer Rex don't agree often, but he says the Colorado Triceratops is, and I like that, and I would wear one with a dinger on it. I'm not going to wear it with a stupid mountain range on it, I'll just say. Anyway, what else we got? Next question, Damon.
Next question is from Fleaball, who's here in the chat today. Fleaball asks, sometimes we forget everything's a group decision with the Dbacks, but their lack of urgency early in the season has haunted them towards the end the last 2 years. Is that on the front office, players, or coaching staff?
Man, that's a great question. It's an outstanding question. Let's see. If we're playing this order, I would say coaching staff, then player, then front office is who I put it on.
But here's where I'll disagree with you. I think that this year, it was obvious from a month into the season that Mike Hazen needed to get this team bullpen help, or else he was really putting this team on the brink of not being able to compete every game because they were just blowing games left and right. And I know a lot of teams don't want to trade early in the season, but it was pretty obvious. I remember the postgame shows where we were talking about it.
No, I know, but we also had a stretch right in the beginning of the season where the bullpen was actually, hilariously enough, one of the best parts of this team early on. So, I mean, again, you're not wrong about that. I think
once AJ Puck went down, basically.
Once AJ Puck went down, yeah.
Which was early on.
I think the problem is that it's easier said than done. However, I do think that I've seen other teams acquire players that I wish the Diamondbacks would have gone after, made a harder press for in order to add to this team to go all in on the remainder of the season, that they didn't do so. I don't really feel like a lot of those have worked out. You can just look at what's happening with the New York Yankees. They have like 3 elite closers, and none of them are getting the job done this season consistently for them from the bullpen, right? So I don't know. I would say there's an equal blame. I think you put a good enough case out there as far as the front office. I think coaching staff, that is his entire job. That is their entire job. I think that, again, when we see that Sean Larkin was just recently removed as third base coach, I feel like that is a decision that didn't need to wait as long as it did.
1,000%.
And that's on the front office. That's not on Torey. Is it on Torey? I mean,
Torey said, I made the decision to remove Sean Larkin as third base coach.
That's definitely on Torey.
That's a Torey thing. Yeah.
Torey, but that's something that also has to come from the front office. That is a group decision. That's not something I don't think that Torey would necessarily be allowed to do without talking to the front office. So maybe in that case, one party was in favor, one party wasn't. And I'm sure maybe Torey was probably the one not in favor of it, because Torey tends to give to people multiple chances to figure things out, especially when they're inexperienced at something. But you could argue Sean Larkin's inexperience at third base cost this team a lot of games this season. And quite frankly, that there's your handful of games at least that get you probably over 500 at this point, right? So the lack of sense of urgency, though, I mean, I think it's on a lot of people. I don't think it has to do with Torrey giving guys days off and such early on. I don't think that, which some people tend to think about early in the season, is not creating a sense of urgency. But I will say when things were going bad for this team, and I think when they were still healthy and not decimated by injuries, they didn't do enough to stack wins. I think there were a lot of situations that they let series against opponents they should have beat derail them a bit. I think that, again, it does fall on the players too. I don't think that there was a sense of urgency, and I think some guys really struggled early on to get on track defensively, offensively, pitchers specifically. Zach Gallen has been like that all year long. You could go back and say, honestly, I still think, as crazy as it sounds, if you want to blame Torey Lovullo for a decision, it's opening day. And this team has just not been on track since that decision was made.
That was stupid at the time, too.
It was stupid at the time. It ended up costing Corbin Burnes quite a bit of time before he could make his debut. And you could argue to say that maybe it was enough to derail, his season enough where he gets injured, right? But the decision to not start Corbin Burnes on opening day was the beginning of it. And from that point on, it was like altering reality. It was like going back. It's like there is a timeline where Corbin Burnes starts on opening day, and I bet it's glorious.
Oh, it's utopia.
Oh, I bet it's a utopia.
Yeah.
But we don't live in that timeline. No. We live in this one.
I agree with that, actually. I would say, mistakes were definitely made in that circumstance of being like, Gallen, we watched Gallen last year. He wasn't very good.
Right.
And you're doing it solely to base it off of loyalty when it's like everyone can see that Corbin Burnes is a better pitcher than Zach Gallen right now. That's lack of urgency, for sure. Because you're sitting there as Torrey thinking to yourself, it's not that big of a deal. It's one start. He's going to come back around in the rotation. It's going to work itself out. It's like, no, this is one of 162, and they count all the same at the end of the season.
My bigger problem is the way that it ended up impacting Corbin's routine, and Corbin has described himself multiple times as being a very routine person. So, it definitely was it. And it's a great example of Torrey doing things for loyalty and not what's best for the team, right? Doing things because he feels like someone earned it in the past, despite the fact that right now you know in that moment that Corbin Burnes is your better starting pitcher over Zach Gallen, right? So, I mean that I think that is a big reason why. And yeah, I mean, again, probably Torrey, coaching staff.
They all share blame. I mean, I feel like that thought exercise clearly just laid that out there where every single one of those spots deserves blame. But yeah, I think that Hazen,
maybe like 40, 35, 25.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's probably that close where you could say decisions made. And I mean, injuries, I think, still had the biggest impact on the season more than anything else. Right. Yeah. But you're not wrong, especially with the way they're playing right now, which deserves to be commended, right? Like they're not giving up. This team refuses to give up. I don't even know why they refuse to give up, but they refuse to give up. And again, it's this FU energy that they tend to have where the chips are down and things are the hardest. That's when they want to prove people wrong. And maybe that's just what this team needs at times is that doubt against them. And that doubt, quite frankly, is going to be there for a number of years going forward. I mean, they're not going to be in a position, I think, to be viewed as a contender the way they were at the beginning of this year, probably for a while, and that's just the way that things are for this team and their roster going forward. I could be wrong about that. They could continue to do crazy things during the offseason like they have the past two off seasons and add the best pitching arm to this team. Go out there and add
first
Framber.
Base.
Go add a good first baseman over there.
Framber and a first baseman. Oh, scenes.
Yeah. It feeds families.
That actually would be insane.
I'm just saying. But you never know because this organization tends to surprise you, just like this team surprises you when they should be losing that they are winning games, right? So what else we got, Damon?
Next question here comes from Fleaball. I guess that was the Fleaball question.
Yes,
I will move on there to Nick Benjamin, who says, are the Dbacks planning on calling Lawler up at any point this season or not till next season? Where do we place Blaze once Lawler is up? I've seen people suggest we move Blaze to first base, but I feel like that'd be wasting his arm ability. Does he just become our new super utility?
Absolutely not. I do not want Blaze Alexander to become a super utility player, but I do feel like that's what's going to end up happening to a degree with him and Jordan Lawler. I think Perdomo will get days off. I think Cattell will DH quite a bit. I think we'll see guys move around on the infield. I think we'll see Blaze at second base more than we'll see Jordan Lawler at second base because Blaze has proven he can play there. But I feel even second base is a waste of Blaze's arm, quite frankly. So I think Jordan Lawler will get his starts at third base if he does get called up. I do think he will get called up, but I do think that, and I hope that it's based on merit. And I hope that whoever kind of outpaces the other player is the one that gets the bulk of the playing time. I also hope that if this team finds a way to run this gauntlet over this next week against the Brewers and the Dodgers and come out somehow on the other side with a positive record and maybe some more hopium for me to smoke, then maybe, at that point, I don't even want to see them do anything like that or alter the roster in order to start altering the chemistry of this team that's finding success. Quite frankly, Blaze has been a big reason why, not only a big reason why I have trust issues now with people I love, but a big reason why this team has found success over this stretch and beat the Reds, right? So I still just am in disbelief. It's always the ones you love the most that hurt you like this, right?
Yeah, it is, Derek. It really is. I would say that, as far as Lawler goes, like if Lawler gets brought back up and is just given every start right away, I think that's a huge problem. He has to show that he belongs in the lineup because Blaze has.
Yeah.
I also don't want Blaze moving to first base because I don't think he's a good enough hitter to be a first baseman.
That's fair. I don't hate Scotty Mac's idea of ADC at first, and I know you love the second half of that statement that says DFA Pavin, but
dude, I can't take it anymore. Pavin still has about an 800 OPS on the year, so every single Pavin supporter can just point to his overall statistics and say to themselves, well, I mean, he's been a pretty good hitter on the season, but if you really look at his splits, Derek,
he had a good scoop the other day.
He had a 1600 OPS in the 2 games in March. He had an 11 or a 1050 OPS in the month of April, and since then 633, 697, barely played in July and had an 873, and in August has a 220 OPS since he's come back from the injured list. Yep. The guy has been a black hole for the better part of 3 months now. Yeah. And it's at a position where it can't happen. It can't happen.
1,000%. Fleaball in the chat says Lawler should not be a utility. That didn't work out before. I don't know what you do with him otherwise. You're not going to get him enough playing time to warrant calling him up unless he plays at several infield positions. And again, it's kind of the same thing with Blaze. I just don't love the idea of calling him up right now anyway. Like, you call up somebody like you do with the first base position, right? Tyler Locklear's been struggling. He has not been good, but you're letting him kind of work things out and seeing if him getting major league at bats is something that makes sense. And if he's continuing his development, if his at bats are getting better, even if we hate what his at bats are, it's the coaching staff evaluating him and seeing if his at bats are better, right? Even if the results aren't there. But again, that's the kind of position right now, considering that there's so much uncertainty and that you don't really have a regular first baseman to play over there, that I feel comfortable with you having that, prospect essentially up trying to make that development as a major league first baseman. I don't feel the same about Blaze. I don't feel like he's just had some luck over there. We've seen Blaze take leaps and bounds forward defensively, and we've seen his bat really play well at a major league level, including against one of the Reds' best starting pitchers this past weekend. So I don't think Blaze is a fluke. The only thing I think is a fluke is his demands to get Jesse Jr. back. That's a fluke. I think they're negotiable. I shouldn't negotiate with kidnappers, but I'm more than willing to, and I will be stopping by Costco on my way home to pick up those Sour Patch Kids. Damon, what else do we got?
Next question here comes from Russell. Russell asks, we are not completely back. We have to win the series with the Brewers and Frogers, and do y'all think with Gabby back we will make a wild card berth? And they made very good improvements against the Reds, but have to keep winning games and series.
Yes. And again, some of these are in response to my question to them. It was Mailbag Monday, so I posed the question and then got a question back. But yes, I do believe that Gabby is just key, man. And again, I just like the combo of James McCann and Gabriel Moreno so much more than Jose Herrera being a part of this team. And that is no disrespect to Jose Herrera, even though many of you would love to see me disrespect Herrera. His time with this team, he's been a part of this team for a while. And there's been stretches where Herrera was very good behind the plate. And a lot of pitchers attributed their success to his game calling. I just think that James McCann offers something very similar when it comes to the game calling, has that at least a little bit more of a veteran presence there. And again, I mean, just the kind of guy that really, I think, can help Gabriel Moreno become an even better catcher than he already is. He has weaknesses to his game. I think there's things McCann can share with him that can hopefully make him better. And overall, I think McCann has just been better behind the plate as well as his bat has played better. So I just love that Gabby is back. He brought a different vibe, different energy. It felt like everybody kind of was picked up by his return, and his son is adorable. And again, he fist bumped me, and it's an unforgettable moment for me. What else we want? What else we got?
Next question here is from Silas, who says, in all major sports, players spend time in a locker room. Why is that player's space in baseball called a clubhouse?
I actually know the answer to this. There's a lot of things I don't know, including a good explanation for ex-WOBA. But I do have a good explanation for this. It's because, Silas, baseball has been around for 900 years.
Yeah, it's insane.
Been around so long that the terminologies used at one time were completely different. And in fact, what a clubhouse was different. Do you see? At one time in baseball, a baseball park, a yard, was what it is, a yard. It had the bleachers, it had dugouts, and that's all it had. It didn't have this entire, subterranean ecosystem where people were moving around down below in tunnels, and there were clubhouses and locker rooms and such down there, right? No locker room for the mascot, the way that Baxter has his own locker room. He's very important. He definitely deserves his own locker room. I'm not taking shots at the mascot, but what I am saying is, at one time, the place where you put your stuff as a player was the dugout. And then, completely separate from the baseball park itself, was a different building, sometimes far away. If you've ever been to the Cubs spring training facility or some of those, the way that their stuff is so far away from the actual ball, doesn't make any sense. It was built in the 2000s. What are we doing? But anyway, clubhouses used to just be a place where baseball players kind of hung out after a game. They would go back to the clubhouse. They would drink beers, a period of time where they'd pop greenies and other various drugs and have themselves a great afternoon, right? So there used to be clubhouses that actually were not part of the baseball park. So the reason why they're still called clubhouses is tradition. They are now locker rooms connected to the stadium. That you no longer have to walk out through the outfield door and past the parking lot to get to the clubhouse like players at one time did. And that's the difference. Also, again, remember, baseball has been around for a very, very long time. So a lot of things they call it, a lot of traditions that they do don't make any sense. This once again takes me back to the 162 game baseball season. As you can see here for the remaining schedule, the Diamondbacks really don't have the opponents in the wild card hunt that they need ahead of them in order to make up ground. They don't have games against the Mets, no more games against the Reds. They do have games against the Padres and the Dodgers, and there's a good chance one of those teams are going to end up with a wild card spot. However, both of those teams are kind of out of the range for the Diamondbacks, so they don't even have enough games against those teams to make up ground on those teams. So the 162 baseball game season used to exist because you never played the other league. You only played American League if you were American League team, National League if you're National League team, and you mostly only played your division, which at least if you were down by 20 games in August, you could somehow actually make that up. And I'm not even joking about that. That's the way baseball was structured for that purpose. Yet we threw all of that out of the window once we decided to do interleague play, and then we decided everybody should get a DH. And now we just call it American League and National League for funsies. That's pretty much what it is. Scotty Mack says, baseball is too long, Anthony Rendon. There's not a lot of things that Anthony Rendon and I agree on, but that's definitely one of them. But they'll never change it because there's too much financial revenue being generated by 162 game season. So here we are. But anyway, we love you guys. We thank you so much for your questions. Obviously, Mailbag Monday would not be what it is without them. Also, we thank you for your time. It's your most valuable commodity. Thank you for sharing it with us. The show would not be what it is without your time. You can follow us on Twitter. I am at cap_caveman with a K. Damon is at Damon Dog with a DAWG at the end. Our show, oh wait, hold on. We're still Damon's Dog. We're Damon's Dogs, right? Bark, 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 bark. Our show is at PHNX_Dbacks, but as always, all roads lead to at PHNX_sports on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. I have to talk to LG3 now because I don't have my snake. I don't have Jesse Jr., aka JJ, and I'm still fairly upset about that. But we'll figure things out once Blaze Alexander gets back here. But again, we thank you guys so much for your time. We appreciate you stopping by. We will see you tomorrow with another post-game show. So until then, keep yourselves entertained, behave yourselves. And remember, kids, baseball is fun, but it is so much more fun when you finally dye your hair beard teal and get your damn snake back. I'm so upset. Blaze, call me.
We all silly like the mayor.